The first thing Seraphina Vale noticed wasn't the man. It wasn't the crying little girl clinging to his hand or the security guards rushing toward him. Inside the glittering charity gala, it was the small silver compass necklace hanging from his neck, a necklace she had buried. With her husband 5 years ago, her heart stopped. The ballroom blurred. For one terrifying second, it felt as though the dead had returned. Before we uncover this unforgettable mystery, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in kindness and second chances, and subscribe to Soulful Tales. 2. Every small act of support helps us continue bringing heartfelt stories that remind us hope is never truly lost. The annual Hope Horizon Foundation Gala was the most anticipated charity event in New York. Billionaires, celebrities, politicians, and philanthropists gathered beneath sparkling chandeliers to raise millions for orphan children. Every table overflowed with crystal glasses and white roses, while reporters crowded near the entrance hoping to capture the night's biggest headline. Seraphina Vale stood at the center of it all. At only 39 years old, she had transformed Vale Innovations into one of the country's most respected technology companies after losing her husband, Adrian, in a tragic sailing accident. Newspapers called her the Ice Queen of Wall Street because she rarely smiled anymore. Success had made her richer than she had ever imagined. But grief had quietly stolen every piece of happiness from her life. 5 years earlier, rescue teams had searched the Atlantic for nearly a week after Adrian's boat disappeared during a violent storm. His body was eventually recovered, and around his neck had been the silver compass necklace Seraphina had given him on their first wedding anniversary. She personally clasped it around his neck before the funeral. She watched the casket lowered into the ground. She had never questioned it. Until tonight, across the ballroom stood a rugged-looking man wearing faded jeans beneath an old navy jacket, obviously uncomfortable among tuxedos and designer gowns. Beside him stood a little girl of perhaps 7 years old holding a handmade invitation decorated with colorful crayons. The necklace around the man's neck reflected the ballroom lights. The identical compass, every tiny scratch, every engraving, every impossible detail. Seraphina felt her knees weaken. Her assistant rushed toward her, worried she might faint. The stranger noticed the attention gathering around him and instinctively stepped backward, shielding the little girl behind him as security approached. He wasn't frightened for himself. He was frightened for his daughter. That simple gesture stirred something inside Seraphina she had not felt in years: compassion. The event coordinator hurried over and quietly explained that the man had received a community invitation after winning a local charity nomination. His daughter had raised money by selling homemade bracelets to support homeless veterans, and the foundation wanted to recognize her kindness during the ceremony. His name was Rowan Mercer, a widowed construction worker, father of one. Nothing about him suggested wealth, influence, or deception. Yet the necklace around his neck challenged everything Seraphina believed. She couldn't stop staring. Throughout dinner, she barely touched her food. Every award presentation faded into meaningless background noise while one question echoed inside her mind. How? After the ceremony ended, Seraphina politely asked Rowan if they could speak privately. He looked confused, but agreed. They stepped into the quiet garden overlooking the city skyline while little Ivy happily chased butterflies beneath the lanterns. Without hesitation, Seraphina asked him where he had gotten the necklace. Rowan instinctively touched it. His expression softened. He explained that he had worn it every day for almost 6 years. It had been given to him by a stranger. Not sold. Not inherited. Given. The answer only deepened the mystery. Rowan explained that 6 years earlier, he had been working night shifts while desperately trying to pay hospital bills for his wife, who had been battling leukemia. One freezing evening, his truck broke down on a deserted coastal highway. With no phone signal and almost no money left, he believed everything was falling apart. A luxury SUV stopped. A well-dressed man stepped out. Instead of driving away, the stranger spent nearly an hour helping Rowan repair the engine with his own hands despite wearing an expensive suit. Before leaving, the stranger quietly removed the silver compass necklace from around his own neck and handed it to Rowan. He simply smiled and said that sometimes people needed reminders, that even when life lost its direction, Kindness could always point them home. Rowan had tried refusing. The stranger insisted. 2 months later, Rowan's wife passed away. The necklace became the final symbol of hope from the only person who had shown him compassion during his darkest night. Seraphina listened in complete silence. Her heartbeat echoed inside her ears. The timeline didn't make sense. 6 years ago, Adrian had supposedly still been wearing the necklace. Or had he? That single doubt shattered years of certainty. Unable to sleep that night, Seraphina returned to the family estate and unlocked dozens of forgotten storage boxes containing Adrian's journals, travel records, and business notes. Hour after hour, she searched. Near sunrise, she discovered an old leather notebook she had never opened before. Inside were handwritten entries describing anonymous acts of kindness Adrian had performed during his business trips, paying strangers' medical bills, buying groceries for struggling families, funding scholarships without revealing his name, helping motorists stranded on lonely highways. Then one sentence froze Seraphina completely. If I ever meet someone who needs hope more than I need memories, I'll give away the compass. Love isn't locked inside Silva. It's carried inside people. Tears streamed down her face. She finally understood. Adrian himself had chosen to give the necklace away. The one buried with him had never been the original. Someone had replaced it. But who? Determined to learn the truth, Seraphina contacted the funeral director from 5 years earlier. After reviewing old records, the elderly director confessed something he had carried in silence for years. During preparation for the funeral, Adrian's younger brother had privately requested replacing the original necklace with an identical custom-made copy. He explained that Adrian had once mentioned giving the original away to someone whose life desperately needed changing. The family believed Seraphina would be devastated knowing the treasured anniversary gift had disappeared before his death. So they quietly commissioned an exact replica. No one intended to deceive her forever. They simply hoped to protect a grieving widow. Instead, the secret remained buried for 5 years. Seraphina felt neither anger nor betrayal, only overwhelming sadness mixed with unexpected peace. The real necklace had never been lost. It had fulfilled the very purpose Adrian believed in. Weeks passed. Yet Rowan and Ivy never left Seraphina's thoughts. Curious, she quietly visited the small neighborhood where they lived. Their apartment building desperately needed repairs. The elevator barely worked. Paint peeled from every wall. Still, laughter echoed through the hallways. Neighbors described Rowan as the first person to shovel snow for elderly residents, repair broken doors without charging anyone, and volunteer every weekend despite struggling financially himself. His kindness mirrored Adrian's in ways impossible to ignore. Seraphina watched from a distance as Rowan patiently taught Ivy how to ride a bicycle using one hand while balancing grocery bags with the other. There was no audience, no cameras, no expectation of reward, only genuine love. For the first time since losing Adrian, Seraphina smiled without forcing it. Instead of offering charity disguised as pity, she offered opportunity. She invited Rowan to interview for a facilities management position, overseeing community housing projects, funded by Vail Innovations. Rowan almost declined, believing others were more qualified. Seraphina encouraged him anyway. His honesty, leadership, and practical experience quickly impressed everyone. He earned the job entirely on merit. Within months, he transformed neglected housing developments into safe neighborhoods, filled with playgrounds, gardens, and after-school programs. Employees respected him because he never asked others to do work he wouldn't do himself. Meanwhile, Ivy blossomed. She became close with Seraphina, who discovered that mentoring one bright little girl slowly healed parts of her own broken heart. The mansion that had once echoed with silence gradually filled with laughter, homework sessions, baking disasters, and birthday decorations. For the first time in years, it felt alive. One rainy afternoon, Ivy innocently asked why. Seraphina always looked at the necklace with tears in her eyes. Instead of avoiding the truth, Seraphina shared Adrian's story. She explained how one act of kindness could continue changing lives long after someone was gone. Ivy quietly listened before hugging Seraphina tightly. Sometimes family wasn't created by blood. Sometimes it was created by compassion. Months later, Hope Horizon hosted another charity gala. This time, Rowan attended not as an uncertain guest, but as Director of Community Outreach. Hundreds of families, whose lives had been transformed through the housing initiative, stood proudly in attendance. During her closing speech, Seraphina held the microphone while looking directly at Rowan and Ivy seated in the front row. She spoke about grief, about love, about unexpected miracles. She explained that people often believed wealth changed the world. It didn't. People changed the world. Money simply gave kindness a louder voice. Then she revealed the story of the silver compass necklace without naming Adrian. The audience listened in complete silence. Many wiped away tears. She ended by saying that the greatest inheritance anyone could leave behind wasn't property, companies, or fortunes. It was compassion passed from one stranger to another until it reached someone who desperately needed hope. The ballroom erupted into applause that lasted several minutes. Yet the loudest sound wasn't the clapping. It was the quiet feeling inside Seraphina's heart. The emptiness she had carried for 5 years no longer felt unbearable. She finally understood that loving someone didn't end when they were gone. Sometimes their kindness kept traveling through complete strangers, creating new beginnings they would never live to see. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like the video, share it with your loved ones, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to Soulful Tales 2. Your support allows these meaningful stories to reach people who may need hope today. Special request: before this story ends, please comment, "Kindness always finds its way." If you believe even the smallest act of compassion can change someone's life forever. As guests slowly left the ballroom that evening, Ivy ran toward Seraphina and slipped a tiny handmade bracelet onto her wrist. Hanging from it was a miniature silver compass charm, carefully crafted from clay and painted by hand. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't perfect, but it carried a message greater than any treasure money could buy. Seraphina looked toward the night sky, closed her eyes for a brief moment, and silently thanked Adrian. His journey had ended years ago, yet his kindness had continued traveling through the lives of strangers, leading broken hearts back toward hope. And in that beautiful realization, Seraphina finally found the direction she thought she had lost forever. Sometimes the greatest miracles are not impossible events, they are ordinary people, choosing kindness when no one is watching, proving that love never truly disappears. It simply finds a new heart willing to carry it forward.